Great, thanks, Melissa. And thanks everybody for inviting me to be here today. Am I able to? Let's see.
Melissa, can you make him a co-host? Oh, there we go.
There we go. So can you see the screen thing?
Yes,
we can see it.
Wonderful. All right. So on the actually maybe before I'm gonna stop sharing this. I'm gonna start with something even more. So basically on the Synod website, we have now I need to. I thought I could. I'm not good at this screen sharing stuff. But in any event, so I guess it's not going to work. Sorry. All right. So there's the ArchSPM / archspm.org/synod website, and then there's a Synod promo website. And so the Synod promo website has lots of resources for parishes to help support the Synod. I was hoping I could pull that up here, but it doesn't look like I can. And so one of the things on that, or one of the tabs on that is print resources for parishes. And so if you click on that tab, expand it, you'll get a Synod overview document. And so that's kind of what this document is. And so this is kind of when we talk about what's happening, this is what we keep pointing people to, and probably is especially of value for those of you who are communicators. It's designed to be a bulletin stuffer, because it has 2 pages to it. It has a front page. It kind of gives the 3-year perspective, and then a back page that gives the 1-year perspective in a little more detail. So Nicole and her team puts that together. There was one for last year. There's one for this year. There'll be one again for next year. So just as a quick recap, so last year we had the prayer and listening events, and so Melissa, Pax Christi was among the 19 parishes that held one for us. In fact, I believe Pax Christi was the biggest one in the end of all of them. Just edging out Our Lady of Grace. Father Finnegan wasn't happy about that, but I think you guys won the prize for the most people that was at a prayer and listening event last year. So we had 19 open ones, and then 11 of them that were focused ones, where basically everybody within a category was invited. So you all may have been to the very last one we did was the one for parish staff. It was done at Gardner in Oakdale. And so, that was the 11th of the 11. And at those, we had over 8,000 people attend. 35,000 comments were gathered that were all read. I was in the team that read them all, and so I can attest to the fact they were all read. They were categorized. And then, so based upon the feedback that the Archbishop got from those comments, based upon the Disciple Maker Index, which many of your parishes did. I think Dean's going to be talking about it, if I understand correctly, later on. There are 28,760, I think it was, that people in the Archdiocese took that. That the Archbishop came up with these 3 points: forming parishes that are in the service of evangelization, forming missionary disciples who know Jesus' love and respond to his call, and forming youth and young adults in and for a church that's always young. So those 3 items will be kind of the focus of the Synod as it goes into the next stage. Now, the next stage we thought was going to be happening now, but due to the pandemic, the next stage is going to happen a year from now, where the church engages. So this year we kind of found ourselves with a year of preparation time. And the way we're going about that is that we're developing basically 4 series of virtual series. All the series are free. All of them are, we'd encourage you to promote things, but if they don't fit into your parish's overall plan, that's understandable. And all of them are intended to be ongoing resources. So once they're released, the plan is to have them sitting on the website for a long, long time, probably years. So the first set of them, and that's where we get to the second page, was a Praying with Scripture series. So basically it was a 5-week, 5-session series where Archbishop Hebda and Bishop Cousins were the primary speakers, and they talk through ways about praying through the Bible. And on top of that, there were, I think, 27 members, people from the Archdiocese who gave testimonies about their praying experiences to kind of help augment what the Archbishop and Bishop were talking about. And so once again, this is a series that is kind of unlike anything that we could find on the internet. It features our local shepherds in their teaching. And so while, now all 5 sessions are out, they're sitting out there, they would make for great small group materials, whether it be this year, whether it be during Advent or during Lent. There's one parish right now that's, I think that they have 36 different small groups that are going through the materials. Those materials also have a prayer companion, so you can with 25 examples of praying with particular readings in the Bible, from all over the Bible, and kind of how one could go through that and journal through that process. So it's very much intended to be a user-friendly and getting people deeper in relationship with God series. The second series, which now is at its halfway point, is a Healing and Hope series. So I'm a couple of years ago, I was blessed to be given a sabbatical to develop a parish-based healing retreat. And then through circumstances beyond my control, and not that I even pushed, suddenly I find that now being a virtual retreat for the Archdiocese. Except now, rather than me doing the whole thing, there's 8. I'm one of 9 speakers on the retreat, but I'm kind of the guide that goes through it. I'm talking about healing and hope. Once again, there are some really powerful testimonials of of how people have experienced wounds in life, but also how they've healed from them, and the role of God in that. And so once again, that basically for those first 2, they would come out on Sunday morning. Their lives, they're streamed over the and they're posted at the Synod website, archspm.org/synod. They're streamed on Tuesday night over Facebook and YouTube, and then they're permanent resources. So once again, if you had somebody that came to your pastor or to your pastoral care staff and felt like that they were looking for a resource on healing and hope, this could be a place that people could point them to for the foreseeable future. Or you could build even build a virtual parish retreat off of either of those in the coming years. The third series, which will be at the end of January and early February, is a faith and culture series. So, last year at the prayer and listening events, we heard lots of things. And so, some of them ended up being the focus areas. Some of them are topics that were maybe further discussion and teaching is necessary. So like the healing and hope would be an example of this. There were comments about the need for healing. There were comments about even for how do we pray, but those didn't rise to the same level as some of the other things. And so once again, the faith and culture series kind of is going to address kind of 4 main themes that the Archbishop heard during the prayer and listening events. And the details on these are in the kind of the final stages of being set up. All these 4 events are going to be held in parishes. I don't think we've even started contacting parishes yet, but that's going to be happening in the next literally the coming days. And then finally, the final step, the final offering that will be offered this year is a synod at home. So growing in faith together. So basically, the purpose of the Archdiocesan Synod is to develop a spiritual strategic plan for the Archdiocese, and by talking together about what's important, by praying together, etc. But yet each one of us probably would benefit from a personal strategic plan, or from a family strategic plan, or if you're living with apartment mates, a community spiritual strategic plan. And so this will be an attempt to kind of help people walk through, how can we become greater disciples, as we prepare for Easter during the Lenten time, with some of the same types of thinking as with the Synod. So that's in an earlier stage of development, but we're looking at that once again being something that's released during the Lenten season. So all of these things, once again, are offerings that we hope can augment what parishes are doing otherwise with adult formation, primarily adult formation, and that they're all, when there was a Therese Koons, who is the director of the Synod, and I had a series. Well, we had an opportunity to speak with all the deanery faith formation leaders, and those, a repeated thing we heard in those was the value of having local presenters, that there's all sorts of stuff on the internet, but, to have our shepherds, to have local people involved, so that's kind of been what we've been kind of aiming for as part of these series. So that's the focus for this year. And then for next year is when we'll get back to addressing kind of the long-term, the long-term issues. The three focus areas: forming parishes that are at the service of evangelization, forming missionary disciples who know Jesus' love and respond to his call, and forming youth and young adults in and for a church that's always young. And so that will start with the parish consultation process with small groups. So, we are asking, that the Archbishop is asking that all parishes participate in this, and that basically from, I think it's about the 15th or maybe the 19th of September through about the 10th of November of next year, that really adult faith formation be dedicated to, aside from things like RCIA or a few of those things that, have to be done every year, but really the focus of adult formation be on talking through, working through the small group process for the parishes. And then January and February of 2022 will be the deanery consultation process, where the pastors and 10 representatives from each parish gather to talk about kind of the next level of the issues. And then finally, the synod itself in June of 2022, when there'll be about 500 people, 2 from each parish, who gather to make recommendations to the Archbishop that he'll then place into a pastoral letter for going forward. So I realize that's a lot in a little bit of time. Hopefully there's not too many people sleeping or overwhelmed.
Father Bambaneck, can we ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
Okay. First off, if you can scroll down to the other page.
Yes.
That'll inform how I asked this question. The Faith and Culture series.
Yes.
When you talk about the church's understanding of the dignity of women, I hope it's going to involve a woman speaking, and not just white male clergy.
Sure.
And I say that respectfully, and that
Yes.
about me.
Yep.
And such, and that there's
I think your hopes will be met on that.
And a diversity of women perspectives, as opposed to one. And then on the priesthood, both the baptized and ordained, which we all know by our baptism, we are priest, prophet, and king. We are all that. Is there any chance that for that category that Father Michael Byron is considered as one of the presenters from Pax Christi, since he has taught about that for a majority of his career? Is he on the radar to consider?
I can take that. I can take that back.
Yeah, if you could, because he's presented on that in many ways. And then now to the synod itself.
Yes.
So the listening sessions got delayed a year, essentially, is what happened, thanks to COVID. What is it you see, or let me say what we're doing at St. Joe's, and you can tell me if it's right or wrong, and you won't hurt my feeling.
Sure.
We are, as a council, been talking about this. One thing we're doing that I haven't seen an emphasis on is inviting the people who are supposed to be good listeners, which is the parish council or community council, into that process. Is that going to be fleshed out, or is that something that the parish chooses to do? I know we have the ambassador structure. Just for those that are, some people on this call, this might be the first time they've heard about it, but we as a council have been discussing it, and we've decided, since one of the top, let's just take number 3, forming youth and young adults, we are going to have the young adults help develop and host that listening session, because there's nothing more annoying than a bunch of people talking as if you're at the kids' table on Thanksgiving and then saying, here's what we decided you should do. Is that going to occur? Is that up to the parish?
Well, so I guess these won't be listening sessions. These will be small group discussion. These will be small group discussions. So like 8 people in a small group. So the idea is to
Correct.
have is to have many. So there will be, you know, I mean, it's still in formation, but let's just say that there's, you know, one or two. So basically everybody will be involved in all of the topics.
Yeah, I'm just saying who would help host the topic.
Well, so basically, you know, I think what we would see was we would see, like, you know, let's just say that there were 100 people. I mean, let's just say there are 100 people interested in doing this.
Yep.
So there would be 10. So there'd be 10 separate groups, and so
And but you're gonna have a leader of that group and a recorder in that group.
correct.
Um,
And that would be and their role would be to be constant in that throughout the like it wouldn't be a
Yes.
changing recorder every week. And so the parishes decide. I mean, each parish can figure out who the recorder and the leader of the groups are going to be.
but you expect it to be the same leader each week
Yes.
and the same recorder.
Yes.
Oh, that's new. That's different than we are approaching it to some extent, because we feel that some people are going to be more interested in some topics and not as interested in other.
Mm-hmm.
If that, I'm just thinking structurally, because all of us on this call are going to have to communicate this and invite people into the process and such. So when I say listening session, I'm thinking about how the Synod listening sessions where we broke out into those small groups.
You know, this will be, well, I mean, one of the options that is, I mean, there's kind of 4 options that we put out there. And one of them would be for there being a more, I mean, it's the only word that's coming to mind, and I'm sorry it's not, I'm sorry if it comes off as pejorative, like a more transient, you know, where people might just come one time. You know, in general, I mean, I think you know, the general hope would be that, you know, people, that the hope, part of the hope of this is to help build community in parishes.
Yep.
You know, and so that you would have, you know, kind of like Renew from the 80s there's still people that met in Renew and are still meeting today.
Oh, we have over 200 people that do Renew at St. Joe's.
Sure.
So we get that model.
Right.
I think that like our parish council all of them have committed to be part of the whole process.
Okay.
And such. We're just saying, as far as to get people on board ahead of time and invite them into the process itself, how you do that so that you have more buy-in in the process. Because we all know that if you have some input into it, you're more likely to participate and also have longer term community, as opposed to treating it as an event, which is not what the Archbishop wants or you want. This is something that hopefully can be a catalyst to other things, while we're discussing topics that were determined by the process so far. But I do think, I don't know, maybe other parishes are looking at this differently, but it's hard in COVID to bring people together.
Right. But
there is work it feels like we can start doing come next spring to lead up to the fall.
Right.
And that's really where my question was going at. But okay. All right. I've talked enough.
Father, could I ask you to clarify something that I heard you say about the Faith and Culture series? It sounded like you were planning to reach out to parishes now or have these in the parish. I may have misunderstood what you said. Could you elaborate on the Faith and Culture series, and if that's going to be online, virtual, or if you're something within parishes?
So right now it's planned to be a hybrid event. So so the speaker and other people involved would be at a location, or the primary speaker and other people involved be at a primary location. But then it would be, you know, live streamed as well.
Okay.
And the venues where they would be going are parishes, but we don't have we don't have the parishes, like not those details. I mean, are not yet, like, I can't tell you that this is the date and this is the parish.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood what you were saying. So
Yep.
thank you for explaining the hybrid. Thank you.
And sorry, it wasn't more clear.
No, that's good. Perfect now.
And of course, that's assuming that we can still do things the way we can right now. We might be told, but that's the going assumption is that it'll be at a place where people can come, a limited number of people can come in person, under this kind of the same protocols as today is going to mass.
Anyone else have any more questions? All right.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you for the important work that you all do.